Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty exciting in the world of AI. It's about how Snowflake and large language models, LLMs, are, well, changing the game. We're focusing on this idea. Prompt is the new code.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to unpack how this lets you get AI-driven decisions without all the usual machine learning training hurdles. And you might be surprised it really comes down to using language, not complex code, to guide these intelligent systems. So let's unpack this right away, this concept, zero-code intelligence. What does that actually mean here? It sounds almost too easy.
It does sound simple, yeah, but it's quite profound, really. It fundamentally changes how we approach AI development. It means you skip the need for traditional ML training or that whole cycle of retraining models every time you want a small behavior change. With an LLM, its behavior is shaped just by changing the words, the prompt. You're essentially instructing the AI in plain English.
Okay, that sounds incredibly flexible. So can you give us a really concrete example? Show us how this language as logic actually plays out.
Absolutely. Let's take a simple input, maybe from a support ticket. Something like, report export button missing. With this zero code idea, you could just prompt the LLM, classify this issue, report export button missing as bug, feature, or request. And bam, the LLM understands, it classifies it intelligently. Maybe it comes back with feature.
Right, clear classification.
Yeah.
But what if you need something more nuanced? How do you shape its approach or even, its tone?
That's where it gets really interesting. You can shape its behavior just by adding a few words. It's about prompt design. So if you wanted a stricter, more formal output, you could change the prompt to say, you are a strict product analyst. Classify this. Report export button missing as bug, feature, or request. Instantly, the LLM takes on that persona. Its decision-making rigor changes. Maybe it leans harder into feature. Or, flip side, you want something softer, more user-focused.
Yeah.
You could try, you are a user advocate. Does this sound like a missing feature or a usability issue? And again, the output style adjusts immediately.
That ability to tune so quickly and putting that power directly into the hands of, say, business users,
Yeah.
that really jumps out. It means product owners, analysts, support leads, they can tweak these prompts themselves without needing a data scientist every single time.
Exactly. And that's a huge strategic advantage. Intelligence starts acting more like a config file, not this massive training exercise. Teams can shape the reasoning, the tone, the logic practically in real time, and all using familiar tools like SQL right within Snowflake.
Okay, so we've covered these powerful single-step prompts.
Oh.
But let's be real, most business problems aren't that simple. They have multiple parts. How do you handle that complexity, those multi-step reasoning tasks? How does this prompt approach scale up?
Right. Good question. That brings us to what we call composable logic. The idea is you break down the big decision into smaller, manageable steps. Each step is its own LLM call, its own prompt. You chain these prompts together. Think of it like building with blocks. Each prompt is a block, and you link them to get the full picture. Testable, reusable blocks.
Okay, composable logic, like building blocks. Can you walk us through an example? How would that chain actually work?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a typical support ticket flow. You need to understand the issue, figure out how bad it is, and then suggest what to do. So, step 1. Classify intent. You might send a prompt like, identify the type of issue from this ticket. Login fails when using SSO. The LLM comes back, maybe access issue.
Okay, step 1 done. Yep.
Then, step 2, determine severity. Now you use that first output. The prompt is, given the issue type is access issue, what is the severity? And the LLM might reply, high.
Right, got the type, got the severity.
Exactly. So step 3. Suggest resolution. You combine the previous outputs. For an access issue with high severity, suggest a support path. And the LLM could then generate something actionable like escalate to identity team within 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. You're breaking it down step by step, feeding the output of one step into the next.
Yeah.
And the impact of that, wow. You're basically making the LLM predictable, traceable. It's not this opaque black box anymore. It becomes part of a deterministic process. You can see the logic unfold, audit each step. That's huge for building trust and integrating AI into core operations, all managed within Snowflake.
Yeah.
That's quite a leap. So we've seen the flexibility, the composability. It sounds incredibly agile. Just how fast can teams adapt these things? Is the iteration really that quick?
That's the beauty of rapid iteration. We're talking seconds, not weeks or months. You can literally update the prompt logic stored maybe in a table, and the change is live almost instantly. No model retraining, no redeployment pipelines. You could have a generic prompt like, classify, and refine it on the fly to, you are a senior support triager, ticket. What is the type? Just like that.
Okay, so updating is fast.
Yeah.
And you mentioned personas earlier, this behavior shaping.
Yes, exactly. This rapid iteration feeds directly into shaping behavior. You want a specific tone, a certain level of rigor. You just state it in the prompt. Remember the strict product analyst or user advocate or the senior support triager.
Right.
You give the AI that role. So for a ticket like, say, submit button fails on mobile view, prompting it as a senior support triager might yield a more definitive bug classification, reflecting that assumed expertise. It's all in the wording.
That's powerful for defined behaviors. But what about reacting to things happening now? Can you feed live dynamic data into these prompts?
Absolutely. That's where dynamic data injection comes in. You design prompts with placeholders, like variables. Think of it like mail merge almost. So you might have a template. Identify user intent. Then your system dynamically replaces ticket with the actual live message, maybe user cannot update password after MFA setup. That complete specific prompt, identify user intent, user cannot update password after MFA setup, is what gets sent to the LLM. It processes the real-time input.
Okay, so it's not just static text. You can weave in current information.
Precisely. And this also connects to task-specific tuning. You're essentially using prompt design to specialize a general LLM for your specific business needs, without any fine-tuning of the model itself, like an IT help desk. You can prompt the LLM to classify VPN access denied after update using your specific categories, like network or access, ensuring it aligns perfectly with your internal processes and terminology.
Okay, this paints a picture of incredible agility, almost like sculpting intelligence with words.
Yeah.
But that ease of shaping behavior must raise questions about control, right?
Yeah.
Trust. If it's that easy to change, how do organizations keep a handle on it? How do they ensure these systems are governed properly?
That's a critical point. And this approach, especially within a platform like Snowflake, has governance baked in. Think about it. The prompts themselves, they can be stored in regular database tables, version control tables even, exactly like application logic. So they become explainable, auditable. You have a history. Plus, every call the prompt sent, the response received can be logged. That gives you observability, helps with debugging, provides full traceability. You know why the AI decided something.
Okay, so auditability is there. What about locking things down? Security. How do you stop just anyone from creating or running these powerful prompts?
Good question. Security is layered in. First, access to the core LLM functions themselves. The external functions like, say, extpolLM can be restricted using standard database roles, so maybe only your support analyst role gets grant usage on that function.
Right, standard database security.
Yep. Then the prompt template stored in tables. Same thing. Grant select only to authorized roles. Not everyone needs to see or use every prompt. And crucially, you can enforce how the LLM is called. Maybe you mandate that all calls go through specific approved stored procedures like run chain pump.
Ah, so you abstract away the direct LLM call.
Exactly. It prevents direct, potentially uncontrolled access. Everything goes through a managed logged pathway. You ensure controls, validations, maybe even fallback logic are always applied.
So putting it all together,
Yeah.
what does this mean practically?
It means you get that amazing agility of prompt engineering, but you don't sacrifice control. It adheres to the principle of least privilege. You get enterprise-grade governance, full traceability, audit logs, controlled execution paths. It effectively prevents that shadow AI problem where different teams might use external tools without proper oversight.
This deep dive has really illuminated how prompt engineering within Snowflake turns intelligence into something you configure, not something you train endlessly. Language becomes the logic. It's a fundamental shift.
It really is. And I'd say this isn't just another AI use case. It's more like an enterprise-ready pattern, a way to build intelligence pipelines that are modular, testable, adaptable, all natively within Snowflake. It empowers the people closest to the business problems, the support teams, the analysts, the product managers, to actually design the AI's behavior, not just write code. That speeds everything up while keeping things secure, governable, and, importantly, explainable.
So for everyone listening, think about that. Prompt is the new code. How could that paradigm shift how you approach workflows, problem solving, and building intelligence in your own domain? Potential for speed, control, and accessibility.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to consider.